Ladies and gentlemen, how are you? It's nice to be back for an actual normal late show. It is nice to be back at a more human time of day to do a live show. I really enjoy doing these weekends with you at the moment. They give us some flexibility and allow us to have a bit of fun. And while true crime is never fun, we can have fun. Like us personally, not the stories. The stories are not fun, but we can sort of relax a little. It's Friday night. We can, TGIF, sort of hang out for a couple of hours, catch up on all the things we haven't been able to talk about this week because I've been in court for the Aaron Patterson trial, and we can sort of do what we used to do before I disappeared to a trial for over a month. And it's gone quick. It really has. I've missed everyone. I miss my core group of people, the people that come here every night. A lot of them I don't get to see at the moment because they're not on at like 5 a.m. in the morning. So I don't get to hang out with a lot of people. And I've missed everyone. I really have. I've missed my chat, my people, hanging out every day, and it's sort of been a somewhat lonely existence a little bit for about a month. It just, but we all knew this was happening. We all knew this was going to occur, and we were building up to it for over a year. And now I don't know, we're in week 4. Next week will be week 5. They said it might run for 6 weeks, and so we're really about 2/3 of the way through that time frame now. It's not a ton of time left in this trial that's been booked for court. So I really, these couple of days on the weekend that we get, I really enjoy, and I get to sort of just hang out and catch up on stories. This one's really important. This is a missing girl from Bundaberg in Queensland, and her name is Phoebe Bishop. And this story surrounding this right now is I've been wanting to cover it for like what is it, like 18th or something, 10 days, 8 days a week. I can't remember how long, but it's been in the media down here for a while now, and it's sort of heated up over the last 4 or 5 days. Hold on. It's heated up for over the last, Monday to Friday this week, starting to see a lot more coverage of it and a lot more developments, like hourly, daily. So I'll give you the timeline and then I'll show you the video. So this is a timeline courtesy of ABC News in Australia, and it says on Thursday, May 15th, so almost 9 days ago, Phoebe failed to board a flight. So she was supposed to be dropped off at an airport, and she was never there, or at least they've not been able to find her on the cameras at the airport. And then they say the next day, on May 16, police issued a missing persons alert. Then on the third day, May 17th, the family started their own sort of campaign on social media to try to get people involved in the local area and further afield. Now you have good old Ping involved. I can help push this a little further for you guys. And then on the fourth day, they started distributing missing person posters in the area. Then on day 5, on May 19th, police searched near the airport where she was supposedly last seen. And then on day 6, May 20, there was a 2011 gray Hyundai of interest. We'll talk more about that later. Then day 7, Wednesday, May 21st, so a few days ago, 2 crime scenes are declared, and I'll show you them in a minute. On the Thursday, day 8, police say no one is in custody over this particular incident and the missing girl. They're in custody for something else. We'll talk about that later too. Day 9, multiple locations are being searched. And I'll show you some of that footage from the different places as well. But I want to make it very clear. Until all hope is lost, we should all try and keep positive and all hope for an ending which ends with this young girl going home. Like, I've seen a lot of things on social media. People are like, it's the worst case scenario and all this. And I get how easy it is to automatically get to that point. Like, I know, but if there's even 1% hope, that's what you want, right? 1% hope is better than no hope. And this is her missing persons poster. That's what we use for the thumbnail tonight. She's 17 years old, missing from around the Bundaberg area in Queensland. So if you don't know where Queensland is, that's northern parts of the Australian East Coast. So I'm in Victoria. It goes Victoria, New South Wales, and then Queensland up the top. Bundaberg is even further north than Brisbane. So if you get to Brisbane and drive north even more, you'll end up in Bundaberg eventually. Like 3 hours, 5 hours, 7 hours. I'm not sure how long, but many hours. You'll get there eventually. And so way up there, that is where she's missing from. And that is her photo. She is Phoebe Bishop. Phoebe Bishop, that's her photo right there. So why was she going to the airport? Well, she was supposed to be leaving to go to WA to meet up with a young man. She was in a sort of long distance relationship with this guy, and she was heading to WA to hang out with him. A lot of teenagers do this type of thing. Nothing out of the ordinary there. The alarm was raised when she didn't end up in WA. When she didn't meet up with the guy, everyone's like, wait, where did she go? She was supposed to be here on this flight, and she never got here. So the alarm got raised, and now everything has gone ballistic. Now, there's a lot more to go through on this, so we'll get into that in a minute. I just want to say hello to some people in the chat. Marilyn Landis is here. Woman of Steel. Joe's here. Hey, Joe. Yeah, I'm. That's what I know you as. The man with lots of positivity. That's definitely what I know you as. Rachel's here. Kathy. Hey, Kathy. Good to see you, my friend. Retired Aren's here. Laura T. Who else have we got? My friend, Woman of Steel. How are you, my friend? Really good to see you. How is everyone? Jonna. My other friend, Moon Shadow. Hey, my friend. Good to see you. It's good to see everyone. Marjorie's here. Jojo made it. Hey, Jojo. Good to see you. Retired Aren. Who else have we got? Marilyn Landis. My friend I Hate Mornings. Good to see you too. The Quiet Observer. Hey, good to see you. Who else have we got? Lindy. Hey, Lindy. Hey, sweetheart. Good to see you. Okay. All right. I'm going to play you a video. This is an update from yesterday. Then we'll go into some more details because this is sort of the latest. It seems to change every hour, but this is one of the videos I can play to you about what is going on right now in the search for Phoebe. So,
detectives have made a breakthrough in the search for missing teenager Phoebe Bishop, turning their efforts to a national park outside of Bundaberg. Homicide detectives have now joined the investigation along with police divers.
A makeshift command centre in the middle of a national park. Police believe this isolated bushland could lead them to Phoebe Bishop, who vanished without a trace 8 days ago.
The police dive squad have assisted with a search of a creek.
Police shifting their focus to a rural area west of the town of Gingin. The breakthrough sparked by an item of interest found, but not confirmed if it's connected to Phoebe's case.
Police have subsequently been conducting some searches of the Goodnight Scrubland National Park in hopes of finding some evidence in relation to her disappearance.
Homicide detectives now involved in the investigation, but no charges laid and nobody in custody.
There's no specific persons of interest, however, police are following up all avenues of inquiry.
The search for Phoebe is now in its second week, but police still aren't giving up hope she'll be found alive.
We never give up hope. We certainly hope so, and I'm sure her family are hoping so as well.
From Phoebe's mother, a renewed plea for information. The numbness that we feel at the not knowing is eating at us. We would do anything just to hear your voice. I have no words to describe what this is doing to our family, to our friends, and to our community.
It is quite traumatic for them what they happen to be going through at the moment.
Detectives returning today to the Gin home Phoebe shared with housemates James Wood and Tanika Bromley, searching a bus parked out the front before being shown potential new evidence by the mother of a friend of Phoebe's. These messages from the 17-year-old: "I've been better, I focus on the good," expressing excitement for her 10-day trip, also revealing she wasn't happy at home.
Claire Todd-Hunter is live.
I want to clarify what they said there about home. So, a lot of people are asking, why didn't she live with her parents? Well, apparently she'd had some, well, I think like a lot of teenagers, they have disagreements with their parents, right? Or their mother. It's pretty common. Kids, for a variety of reasons, don't get along with their parents at this particular age. They want to, show their independence. Parents still want to keep them safe. The clashes that happen between this battleground between independence and keeping them safe sometimes can end up in this type of situation. I don't think you should read too much into why she didn't live at home. I think that's a red herring here. At least I think so from what I've viewed of this particular case. I just don't think it's a good focus point. The focus point I would look at is back where she was living in that house. And the description I've seen is basically like a garbage dump or a tip. And they had dead animals, that bus, crap everywhere, to the point that there was a very bad smell that emanated from this particular property. And people had reported it, including other family members of those other people that lived there. They had reported concern for any human living on that property because they were just like, it's not a healthy environment. There shouldn't be humans there. It should have been, looked into earlier. And now look where we are. We're in the crossroads of a missing person investigation. Yet, from what I understand, people tried to raise the alarm before any of this took place, and nothing was really done. So, when people ask, like, what were the warning signs? Did anyone see anything? And they're like, no, we didn't notice anything. No, there was, and people did try to say something. Well, allegedly, according to them, and I'll show you that. That came out in the mail earlier today, and if I can show you, yeah, it's a relative of, and I'll explain it. Hold on, let me bring over this article. They said no one did a thing. It's a family member of Phoebe Bishop's flatmate, and they said they've broken their silence, revealing they tried to raise the alarm with authorities before the 17-year-old's suspicious disappearance. And apparently, it's Miss Bromley, the woman that you saw in that video. It's her brother. And he says in this article, if I can get back to it, his name is Sean. And he has come forward claiming his family had serious concerns about the welfare of those at the Gin property and went to police. He says, it's about time I said something. And there's a photo of the other two that lived at the property. Here's Tanika, and where's her? That's Sean there. That's the brother of her, Tanika. And the other guy that lived there is James Wood. This is his photo here. That's James Wood. So it was James Wood, Tanika Browley, and Phoebe. And this is Sean, the one that's making these claims. He says, I'm ashamed my family's name is now getting dragged through the mud because of one particular person. He goes on to discuss that his sister had some recent run-ins with the law, explaining she was out on bail at the time of Phoebe's disappearance. He says, I was worried about my nephews and everything that I'd been hearing and what those boys had gone through. He says he spoke to investigators regarding his concerns. He says he wasn't the only one putting these complaints in. He says, especially considering how many times those two had been reported to authorities, welfare, and the Animal Protection Service, He says he even contacted the media by email and even attached a photo of her court charges, and no one did a thing. He says Mr. Bromley, Sean, added that his mother is now helping police with their inquiries, but they would appreciate it if she was left alone. He says, my heart goes out to this girl and her family. I hope that police can get the information to find her and put everyone's mind at ease. There's the property, by the way. Hold on. So there you go. That's a statement from a relative of someone else who lived at this property. And police have cordoned this off. It's a crime scene. There's a couple of other crime scenes that they're searching. One that was near that airport where she supposedly was last seen. I would like to know, I haven't seen whether that was a third-party independent verified sighting or that came from the people involved. I don't know. So they're looking for this particular gray Hyundai. I don't know if they ended up finding it, but this was the one they were appealing for. This is the one I told you about in the timeline. It's a Hyundai iX345, and I don't know if they end up locating it, but you can see the hive of police activity. There's just cops everywhere. There you go. Forensic police in Tyvek suits. They don't come to your home unless they think something has gone wrong. They're not going to just rock up at your house for no reason and have a cup of tea. They're there for, a specific purpose. All right, let me play you the rest of this video.
At the search site, Claire, what's the latest?
Well, Melissa, the search has now been suspended for the night, but crews will return to this makeshift command centre at first light. In the meantime, it remains under police guard. Now, we have seen a number of items forensically tagged at the site here this afternoon. The police have confirmed they haven't found any items that were on Phoebe at the time of her disappearance. They are still searching for her luggage. Melissa, as for the reaction from loved ones of Phoebe after this latest development this afternoon, we're told Phoebe's boyfriend, who she had been on her way to see in Western Australia, is heartbroken.
Yeah, it's a hard situation all around for everyone involved. That fellow, the young guy in WA, the family of Phoebe, and extended members of other people that are involved as well. I don't think anyone wants to be thrust into a national sort of search or police operation. I think it's hard on a lot of people, but got to find the girl. That's it. You find the girl, police activity dies down. That's how this works. So if you know where she is, if you've seen her, if you have any information that could help investigators, you need to contact the police QPS in Queensland and say it's in regards to Phoebe Bishop. And that could be anything. You could have seen a girl that looked like her. She was here or in a car, or I saw people with her. Anything. At this point, anything would help. A description of someone, they look like this, they had piercings, they had a tattoo, they had a scar, they had horns, who knows? But that kind of details helps police piece together a picture of what is going on, and they need the public to help. So if you are in the surrounding area, if you've seen anything that you would think that is, out of the ordinary, might be connected, even dating back, even if you saw something like half a year ago when they first moved into this property and you go, wow, I saw something, but don't know if it's related to the girl going missing. Doesn't matter. It could help. As someone who now has been through a bunch of trials and things, I can tell you that investigators like to start very far back. They'll start as far back as they can to sort of figure out how this all happened. They'll go back 2 years, 5 years, whatever it is. So don't think that your information, just because it isn't in the last couple of weeks, is not valuable to authorities. It could be. So let me give you that number and case number. Phoebe Bishop. should have a case number. Yeah, here we go. So if you have any information on Phoebe or the other parties involved in this, I showed you some photos of her roommates. You can contact Crime Stoppers nationally on 1-800-333-000. But you can also quote a reference number from QPS, which is QP 2500 844 872. And that'll make sure it goes to the investigators who are working on this particular case. That'll get your information to them very quickly. You can also use a online reporting portal, and I'll put it in the chat. It is police.qld.gov.au/reporting. I'll put that in the chat too. So if you don't want to call in, you're like, I don't like calling into the cops. Well, you don't have to. You can just use this form and say whatever you want to say. And you say, I don't want to be contacted about it. I just want to tell you the information. Or you could probably do that. And if you want to stay fully anonymous, use the number 1-800-333-000, and you don't have to give your name. You can say whatever it is that you have to say, and let them deal with sifting through it. They will know whether it's valuable or not. Your duty is just to let them know that you know. That's it. Retired says a missing girl from Utah has not been found despite charges against a man in Texas. Is it that girl from Provo? Is that true? Hold on. Alisa Petrov, right? 2 men have been charged in connection with the disappearance of Alisa Petrov. What did they charge him with? Hold on. See, I've been so out of touch with true crime, being in a courtroom all week. I don't have any chance to watch any of this at the moment. What is going on? Yeah. Yeah, what did they get charged with? That's not good. Great. So, yeah. They're saying here that a man named Matthew Nicholas Menard, 35 of Miami, Florida, is facing 6 charges, including aggravated exploitation of a minor, enticement of a minor, criminal solicitation. And another man, William Taylor Glines, 37 of Texas, is facing 10 charges: attempted aggravated exploitation of a minor, S-word exploitation of a minor, enticement of a minor, and criminal solicitation. So they charged these 2 guys, but they didn't find her. They're saying here, documents allege that both men had separately asked if the victim was 15, to which he reportedly said to one, Yepers, I'm actually in middle school. The conversation with the victims were largely sexual in nature, with both men repeatedly or reportedly asking the victim to send explicit photos and video. Girls, come on. Ladies, little girls, teenage girls, come on. And I'm not blaming them. It's these predators that are doing it. Our education has to get better at warning them that this kind of stuff was happening. I thought we're really good at it now. Obviously, we're not, because it keeps happening. So we've got to get better at educating the young people that there's really nasty people in the world, and they only want one thing, and they will use and abuse you until they are finished with you, and then it's they have nothing to do with you anymore. They make you feel very special for a period of time to get this CSAM, and then we end up with a case like this with a missing girl. So we've had 2 tonight. Well, actually, Alisa went missing a while ago, a couple of weeks ago, and then we had this one in Australia too, Phoebe Bishop. I don't think they're related. Like, I don't think the the allegations, I don't think they're even close to being related, at least not at this point. But very, very sad. And they still haven't found her, though. It makes me worry that some guy has her in a basement right now, like for real. If she's been soliciting with adult men online, it makes me worry that that she's run into the wrong guy and he's holding her somewhere. If they haven't been able to locate her, I find that, that's my biggest worry here. Let me see, Alisa Petrov. Yeah, that's brutal. Far out. Let me take you out for an update. Let's go to KSL Utah. Had one a couple of days ago about these people.
Hello, thanks for joining us this afternoon. We are starting with breaking news coming out of South Jordan. Police there giving us an update on the search for a 15-year-old girl that's been missing almost a month now.
Specialist Garna Mejia joins us live with new information about 2 men facing charges connected to her disappearance. Garna?
Yeah, Deanie and Debbie, we're hearing from South Jordan police that both of these suspects were in contact with 15-year-old Alisa Petrov the day she disappeared. Now, here's the thing. They both live in different states. We'll start with suspect number 1, 37-year-old William Taylor Glines. He's in custody in Texas. Now, police say that on the day she went missing, she was apparently borrowing a stranger's phone at a bus stop and sent a text message to Glines. Glines is facing several counts, including aggravated sexual exploitation of a minor. And according to court documents, he knew that Alisa Petrov was underage. The second suspect is 35-year-old Matthew Nicholas Menard of Florida. He is facing similar charges. Now, search warrants indicate that Menard sent Alisa messages about meeting in Las Vegas, going to Los Angeles, and ending up in Florida. It is unclear if Menard is in custody. Alisa has not been found, and police are urging the public to call them with any tips, information, or sightings. Now, there's a lot of parts that are moving with this case. We know that the FBI is involved, and coming up at 5, we'll hear from law enforcement expert Chris Bertram on what we can expect in the next stage of the investigation.
It sounds like that was from the cybercrime team. They got involved a couple of weeks ago in the search after a tip-off from someone that that these people had been talking to her. So it makes me worry that they found the 2 guys that she'd been talking to before she left, but who was she talking to just before she left or during the time that she went missing? Because, like, where is she? They have not been able to locate. Yeah, she may have been talking to these people, may have been sending CSAM material, but where is she now? That's what we need to know. These kind of cases really disturbing. It's scary that there's men my age that are like, hey, let me hit up a 17-year-old girl or 15 and, anyone underage. And they're like, hey, send me naked photos. Come on, man. It's ridiculous. I can't get my head around. I never can. And I read hundreds of these stories every year. And I can never get my head around grown men doing this. I just don't get it. I don't get it. I've never once gone, yes, the thing I want to do this weekend is talk to a 15-year-old. I've never once thought that ever. I'm just like, I don't want to talk to any teenagers. I'm an old man now. They don't want to talk to me. If anything, I'm like, hey, those kids on the bus, those 15-year-olds, you know, get off my lawn. Like, I just, it's not in my thing anymore. I just have no interest, no anything. Hey Jelly Tot. Hey, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. I believe they're doing forensic tests on that car. They did find it. Thanks. It's been a struggle to keep up with anything outside of the trial, so I try to do my best. May miss a couple of details about things. Thank you though. I appreciate it. Nice to meet you, by the way, too. Forensic, yeah. Well, they said they forensically tagged items in that national forest too. That's worrying to me because they won't do that for no reason. Even if they're like, hey, a spoon that someone left here 35 years ago, like they're not going to do that. It has to be something that they think is even semi-related to what's going on. They're not going to be like, hey, a leaf. We're in a forest. This seems like a very rare item. We're going to take a photo of it and put a tag here. Like, they're not going to do that. So it makes me... I don't want to be the person that loses hope over Phoebe. I feel like until that sort of no more light at the end of the tunnel, I don't want to be the person who starts talking that way. I want to stay positive that maybe this could have a very happy ending. That would be nice. That's what I think we always want in these type of cases. But I just will say there's a lot here that seems like something we've seen before in other cases, which is concerning. You know, anytime someone's supposed to be somewhere and then they're not, and they check the CCTV and they're not there, like that, you know, that I then start not believing any timeline. I start not believing anything because it tends to come from certain people. And then I say, well, they have self-interest possibly in this. What can you believe of anything they say? And, you know, can you give me any third-party verified sighting that is not anyone close to her? Did someone see her? Is there, you know, that's what you're looking for, not really anyone that, you know, was living with her. Hey, Jeanette, how are you? Oh, I didn't. You have to let me know what that is. Hey, Jeanette Lamb, nice to meet you, by the way. You'll have to let me know what case that is. Missing woman turned up dead at Coffs Harbour. I don't know that one in particular, but if you tell me the name, I might be able to look it up. But who knows? I mean, it's a lot of unknown right now. That's what I'll say. Yeah, you never know. We've seen stranger things happen in true crime. But it's nice to meet you, by the way. Nice to meet you. Yeah, you never know. Yeah, the Phoebe case is, yeah, just concerning. Anytime you have people turn up to your home in Tyvek suits, I think paints a picture. Yeah, here's another photo of them, by the way. You know, they're walking around in their forensic gear. I don't know. That doesn't ever normally say a good thing to me. Let me see. What do they say here? They say here, this is based on the Queensland missing girl. We do have associates that are assisting police with our inquiries at the moment, and this is why we're trying to narrow down the timeline in relation to where Phoebe could be. That was a few days ago, a while ago, about 8 days ago. And they said that there's now 3 crime scenes that have been established. I think one is at the home, one is near the airport, and one is in the national park area. And they did seize that grey Hyundai owned by one of the associates, and it is believed to be the car that Phoebe traveled to Bundaberg Airport. I just have questions about that. They say they say we do have police and scientific officers at the address, that is where Phoebe was staying. And they say we are trying to nail down the timeline as to where this vehicle has gone. Police appealed for dash cam and CCTV footage of that particular car, naming locations of interest as Bundaberg, Airport Drive, and Samuels Road, as well as, I hope I'm saying it right, Gingin, or I hope I'm saying that correctly. They're saying Phoebe's mother used social media to reflect on the difficult week. She just said, as we enter another day with Phoebe still missing, our hearts are breaking and more. She said that she just needs to know that her daughter is okay and that she just needs to hear her voice. I could understand that plea. Here's a photo of her and her mum. It's a nice photo too. That's a photo of Phoebe and her mother right there. Yeah, three crime scenes. One near the airport that they had a look at already. I'm not sure if they found much. One in that national park area, and then one at the home. So I'm just having a look. Wendy Hansen. Wendy Hansen. Let me have a look. It was west of Bundaberg, and she disappeared from Monto. Okay. Did they ever arrest anyone over it? They said in November 2024, they found her remains that were discovered in bushland that leads to Jetty Beach near Jordan Esplanade, Coffs Harbour. So that was, when was this? That was her photo there. They said homicide detectives locate grandmother's car months after her remains were found on a New South Wales beach. Very strange, like someone dumped it. They said she was last seen withdrawing cash from an ATM on Newton Street in the rural town of Monto, about 170 kilometers west of Bundaberg on February 29th of that year, which was 2024, I think. And they said vehicle was seized for forensic exam. However, personal items belonging to Wendy, including her mobile phone that she had when she went missing, were not located in that particular vehicle. I don't know if they would be related. It would be a little odd to have a victim profile so wide. Normally, when you have these people, it's not normally like a grandmother and a 17-year-old, like a teenager would go missing and somehow be related, but you never quite know. Some killers or whatever do crazy things, but it would be strange to me. But hopefully, they find out what happened to this lady. I'm trying to see, did they ever make an arrest or have a suspect? You'd think they might have had CCTV. They found a human skeleton in Coffs Harbour that was identified as her. Yeah, suspect. No, I don't see that they're. I don't see anyone that they're kind of like pinpointing. Interesting that her remains were skeletonized. They believe she was murdered elsewhere and then put in that location. So somewhere in the area between Bundaberg, Monto, and New South Wales, there's a crime scene that they never found for this particular lady. Somewhere out there's a murder scene that they just haven't come across as of yet. That's her photo right there. Thanks for letting me know about that one. I had never, like, I cover as many cases as I can, but I never heard of this one. It's regionally close. Yeah, what was they say? 170 clicks away from Bundaberg. It's not like far away, but in the similar region. I would agree with you. It's a while ago though. When was it? They discovered her remains in Coffs Harbour on June 18. She was last seen withdrawing money from an ATM in Monto, 170 kilometers west on the 29th of Feb. So about 4 months had gone by between when she was last seen and when they found those remains. And they said she was basically a skeleton by that point. That makes me wonder if she'd been sitting out somewhere for a long period of time, even if it wasn't the place where she was discovered, maybe wherever that, like they said, they believe she was murdered elsewhere. Was she just in a car, in some other type of, in the bushland or something? Because that kind of fast skeletonization is, I would think, abnormal. It is summer though. I'd have to ask our friend, Dr. Joseph Scott Morgan and ask him what he thinks about that time frame, whether it sounds realistic or abnormal. It's only 4 months. I would think that's maybe not quite long enough. Interesting though. It isn't too far from where you live. Is it crazy up there at the moment looking for this girl? You have to tell me, because I'm not there. I know. I can't say I ever played the game Phasmo. I don't know what that is. All right. Lindy says 4 months seems awfully fast. Sort of, but in Queensland, there's a lot of water, especially in that time of year around summertime, which she was last seen in February. There tends to be a lot of downfall of rain, and there had been during that time in 2024. There's been a lot of rain in Queensland and this year too. Rain and then the evaporation of it creates a lot of humidity in the environment. Humidity, especially if you think of places like southern Texas, Houston, anywhere around Louisiana, that kind of thing, you get faster decomposition rates than if you had somewhere in like a drier, arid environment, like a desert environment, like Nevada or something. So that's just the basis of my knowledge. You could have been predated on by animals. Yeah, that does happen, unfortunately. Yeah, I'd say Queensland, especially over summer, is quite hot and humid. There's a lot of thunderstorms, rain development, evap in the atmosphere. Like it is one of the places where you would have that type of humid environment for it. Lindy says, makes sense. I live in the desert, so thinking that way. Although Queensland does have desert areas too. It's just coastal, more coastal areas have a lot of rain through that period. Yeah, that does happen, unfortunately. There was a case that I read about recently that a woman was found dead and she had been predated on by animals to the point where, what case was that? I can't remember, but she'd been predated on so heavily by animals that they were unable to do a sexual assault kit on her because her organs had been so degraded and they were unable to do that. I can't remember what case that was, but it came to my mind when we're talking about animal predation of humans. Hey, Gayla, how are you? Unable to chat. Okay. I'm sad that you're unable to chat. Turtles? I didn't know. Don't know if I've ever heard of is that true? Turtles sometimes eat humans, like dead humans. I don't know if I've ever heard of that, but you might have, since you got more knowledge on this subject than I do. Let me see. All right, let me take you. I wanted to take you out to one more thing about Phoebe. Let me see if I can get another video for you. 8 hours ago. Yeah, let me take you out to channel 9. Only 5 hours ago. Shush. All right, here we go.
SES crews have returned to rural bushland in southwest of Bundaberg to resume the search for Phoebe Bishop after police found new evidence in a national park. Claire Todd-Hunter is there at the search site for us this morning. Claire, what's the latest?
Well, Lizzie, it looks like this will be a land and waterways search this morning in this patch of rural bushland in what's known as the Goodnight Scrub National Park. This is just outside of the town of Gingin, where Phoebe was living, and about an hour's drive away from Bundaberg, where Phoebe was last seen. It appears, though, this will also be an aerial search this morning, with fire and rescue crews preparing to put up a drone. We have got dozens of SES personnel, police and fire and rescue here this morning. They have just been briefed and are preparing to go back into that bushland to start combing it in the next 10 minutes. Homicide detectives are now involved in this case 9 days after Phoebe Bishop, a 17-year-old from Gingin, went missing. Police divers are involved in this search as well, but Lizzie, police say they are still holding out hope that Phoebe will be found alive.
Claire Todd-Hunter there. Thank
you see the forensic officer here, right? That is kneeling down. I can't tell fully, but is that a camera? If that tells me that might be a camera, they may be looking for something to film. Interesting. It's I know they film a lot of crime scenes so they can reenact it later or look for certain things that they may forget during the process of their job so they can go back and review. But interesting. Yeah, hey, I heard you were not very well, my friend. You broke your ribs and your hand? I heard from Patricia that you weren't doing that you were a bit banged up. I hope you're hope you're getting better. You have to tell me how you broke your ribs. Were you fighting a bear? Is that what happened? Did you fight a bear? I told you have to stop doing that. You can't go out into the mountains and fight bears. They're always going to win. Always. They're way more stronger. They're just, they're unbeatable. They're just muscle machines. So hopefully you won't do that again. It is a camera. It does look like one, which is, I know they film everything, but the West Memphis 3. Ask Stacy about that. Stacy knows everything about that case. Ask me. I only know where Memphis is, and I know the number 3. Other than that, I can't tell you anything about the case because I've never followed it. Don't know anything about it. I know there's a lot of legal stuff surrounding it, appeals and wrongful something, but ask Stacy about it. She knows everything about that case. Yeah, I heard there was some sort of false accusation, but Ping doesn't know anything about it. It was maybe before my time and I just don't know anything about it. Hold on. Yeah. Stacy knows everything about that case. She's done years of work on it. So if you want to talk to someone about it, talk to her. Ask me. Like I said, I know where Memphis is and I know what the number 3 is, but that's about it. I don't really know much more. Yeah, so that's all I got to show you on that one. What else do we have going on? Wait, what? Someone sent me a link to this Alisa Petrov thing. By the way, look at the photo of one of the guys he arrested for her case. What is up with this photo? Like, you could turn to PDF file in the dictionary and they're like, this guy right here, that's what you're looking for. That's exactly like, what is with this? Like, I know I have weird eyebrows expressions sometimes too, but not like this. That's, I like how the police are like, what is the most embarrassing photo we can find? Let's do that. And let's put that out into the public. Let's put that on his charging documents because why not? Let's go in that direction. What drugs was he on? I don't know, but he was asking girls if they were 15 in a chat room. Yeah, it's a strange. Someone sent this to me. They're like, you have to see that photo. I was like, yeah, he definitely has the crazy eyes. Here's him later when he was arrested. His eyebrows seem to have returned to their normal positions in life. Why? I don't know, but they have. But I love when police do that. They find like the most embarrassing photo of suspects, and they're like, "Yes, that one. Let's do that. That'll cause the most embarrassment that we can do." And they secretly put out like the worst photos they can find. I swear it's a game with law enforcement. They because I see it often. They're always like, "Look at this photo with the guy with the crazy eyes. He looks so different." He does look sort of different compared to the other photo. Maybe someone was right. Maybe he was on a lot of maybe he's been cooking up some crystal in his spare time. Maybe. Let me see. It doesn't like if this was some like dating profile photo and he's like, ladies, this is what you have to look forward to, I would be like, I think you might scare the ladies away. I don't think that's the photo you should be putting out there for them. Don't think they're going to be like, yes, that is a man I could use. I could use a man with a strange eyebrow expression. Is that his drive? That can't be his driver's license photo. No, the other one is it? I don't know where they found that one. Ah, stop. There we go. We've got too many links open. Either way, I find it hilarious that either the media or whatever, they always find the strangest photos of people that they can. They're gonna find the weirdest photos of me. They're gonna be like, look at this guy. He does live streams. Often looks weird when he's talking about stuff. We arrested him for having autopsy photos on his computer and things like that. And I'll be like, I'm a true crime person. And they're like, that doesn't matter. We searched your computer. We found all the things. Chipmunk said, I've seen guys use their prison pic for a profile photo. Some girls are into that. There is a whole demographic of women that are really into the whole prison. I'll wait for you, triple murderer that's never getting out in our lifetime. I will marry you and then have a conjugal visit and have all your babies. That happens quite often. Why? I have no idea. Maybe they just want a guy. They're like, I want a guy that I only see once a month on the third weekend in July. I get some action and then I get to go home. And then I don't have to deal with him. He's never in my home. He's not going to mess up my laundry. He's not going to mess up my kitchen. I'm just, I go visit him. Jeanette says, back in the day when the photos were Polaroids, my license pic had my teeth smeared. You had like your lipstick? That's funny. You look like it was like warped. That's pretty funny. My license pic had my teeth smeared over my bottom lip. Looks like a rabbit. You should have kept that. You should have framed that. That is like, should have been historic. I don't know who that is, but sure. Chipmunk says, then they go marry the guy who was in there for life, right? Yeah. Chipmunk says they want a guy who knows where he's at. Yeah. In a jail cell, who gets only 1 hour in the prison yard per day. That's it. They don't have to track them. They ain't going to go visit other women because they can't get out. That's what it is. Snapping turtles. Interesting. I don't think we have them in Australia. Jojo. That's funny. Jojo says, do you think they tell their friends we hang out at his place? Yeah, they're like, I never invite him back to mine. We only go to his place. That's it. Hey, Snuffcrackle, how are you? Gail says, maybe so they won't be bothered in the evening with him changing the channel. Maybe. That's why you just buy 2 TVs and put them in separate rooms. That way you never have fights over who has to watch whatever. Or you just have 2 computers. That works too. You love turtles? I can tell. Oh yeah, it is too. Yeah. I don't ask me how to pronounce it. Hibrostophilia? Yeah, there's a Reddit. I can't remember where it is. Someone showed it to me, and one of their rules is that you can't be negative to people who have a attraction to people behind bars. Like one of their rules is about that word. I can't remember what case it's related. Might be Koberger. Might be a Reddit that's based on Koberger or something. And they're saying like, oh, there's a lot of people that come into this Reddit that have romantic feelings for Brian Koberger, and that you can't be negative towards them for they can't help their attraction to Brian Koberger. I could understand that. There's a lot of pale, pasty weirdos that women can't resist. You would know him if you see him. He's like the #1 coroner. Probably. Chipmunk says, "You love turtles too? I swam with one in my pond." How big is this pond? I love catching them and playing with them. It's RSPCA. Like, you might want to visit this person. Like, I don't understand. Like, how big is this pond and how many turtles live in there? And why are they catching them and playing with them? I'm concerned about this. Yeah, RSPCA. Visit this person. What? All right. Gail says, "I don't like to yuck someone's yum, but what the fuck? Yum, yuck, yum, whatever it is. You can send me photos so I can forward them to the RSPCA. Like, I'm concerned about these turtles and why you're holding them captive in a pond. You know, some people hold women captive in basements. I'm worried about your turtles that are kept captive in a pond." You love turtle? They're delicious? I don't think I've ever tried turtle. You have maybe 10 in your pond? Several babies that are just born and a snappy. He's big. Don't let him near your genitals. According to CSI, they'll eat it. Pro tip from CSI in the chat. Don't let them near there. They will snap you. Are you sure? Because you just said in the chat that you enjoyed them. All right. We should get back to true crime. We could laugh all night about this stuff, but we should talk about... No, we don't have to go there. We should go here. What have we missed out on since we've been at trial? Okay, we could do this one. I like when people are dumb. Let's head to... Let me see if I can get this one for you. So according to my link here, it says, the following video is from Arlington Ave. Is it the Ilion Police? Know that the video does not provide a lot of detail. However, it may assist with identifying the vehicle and occupants involved. And apparently the story is about two 19-year-olds prank village with fake kidnapping, riding through town screaming for help. They say a pair of 19-year-old men have been charged with making a false report after they admitted to racing through the streets of a New York village, with one of them hanging out the car yelling that they had been kidnapped. And I'm going to show you that video. Why I don't understand why people would do this. Hold on. How do I get this? I've got that. I want the photo of these weirdos. Here's the two people that did it. There you go. These two rode around a New York village pretending that one of them was being kidnapped and decided that that would be a fun prank to play. Okay, let's watch the video of how this happened. So this is from the, I'm saying it's the Ilion Police. Let's see what it does. You could understand why people in that area would be very, you know, freaked out by this. You hear them yelling, and it does sound like some sort of emergency situation. It doesn't sound, you know, like kids being stupid. It does mimic something that you would think could have police involved. But what a bunch of dumbasses, really. Here, let's show their photos again. By the way, I think this photo comes from Crime Online. Thanks, Crime Online. I don't know who wrote it. Maybe I don't know. But there's their photos. Yep. They look like Tweedledee and Tweedledum, who would drive around the local area and do something like this because they're bored. There's got to be something better in life that you can do than driving around a New York village and pretending to be kidnapped and yelling at and screaming in the middle of the night. There's got to be better things to do. Got to be. Let's see. If I open this, what does it say? Let's see. They say they were arrested. It happened, the actual event happened on May 21st, 2025. On May 23rd, 2025, they turned themselves into police. Well, at least they have some smarts about them. They're saying one of them is 19-year-old Adrian M. Vordenson, and he's from Rome. I'm not going to give you the address, even though you can see it. They say he was charged with one count of falsely reporting on an incident in the third degree, a Class A misdemeanor. He was released on an appearance ticket returnable to the Justice Court on the 13th of June, 2025 at 10 a.m. So he's going to have to go to court. And the other one is 19-year-old Brian R. Patrick, and he lives in West Winfield. He was charged with one count of falsely reporting an incident in the third degree, Class A misdemeanor. He was also released on an appearance ticket to return to the Justice Center on the 13th of June, 2025 at 10 a.m. And then they say, in addition to the penal law charge, Brian R. Patrick was issued 2 separate traffic violations of speed not reasonable or prudent, and 1 violation occurring on May 21st, 2025, while he operated the 2014 Ford Fusion, a red-colored 4-door sedan. And then the other violation occurred May 1st, 2025 at 4:05 p.m. while he operated the same Ford Fusion as it traveled southbound at a high rate of speed on Elm Street, also within the same village. They said their mugshots are available on the Village Police Facebook page. All right, I have to see that. Is it the same one we saw? Oh, it is. Here we go. Tweedledee and Tweedledum. There they go. They have their names on it too. Good work, gentlemen. Good work. You found yourself on an Australian true crime person's channel. Is that what you were hoping for in life? Is that what it was? Because now you have achieved it. You have achieved all your dreams. An Australian man is talking about how stupid you are. So congratulations. Round of applause, golf clap for both of them. I will do that for you. There. I don't know why. Village idiots, that's what they may be called when they walk down the street with their neighbors. Their neighbors may call them that. They'll be like, hey, look, those guys again. He's wearing a chemistry shirt. Betty smells glue. Yeah, maybe. Tanya says their family must be so proud. So proud right now. So proud. Graduation's going to be a great day for both of them. They're going to be like those guys that were arrested at the start of term, after spring break. Here they are, getting their certificates. Hey, Natasha. How are you, my friend? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to have you here. Well, I'm glad that since I've been gone at trial, stupid things in the world have continued to happen. I mean, I'm glad to see that no one has been like, whoa, Ping's not around anymore. We should stop doing stupid things because, he won't report it. I'm glad that they have continued that. Let's see. What else have we got? All right, we could do that. Let's head out to... What county is this? KSBW. And it says teen girl, and she used jujitsu to stop attacker. And it's Carmel police seek suspect in it. Okay, let's watch.
Home from school turning into a terrifying moment for a Carmel by the Sea 13-year-old girl when she was face to face with a man trying to physically assault her. The girl managing to fight him off using jujitsu.
Halfway home, a gentleman was standing in between two cars and he stepped out to punch her in the face.
For 3 years, she has been attending jujitsu classes with Sensei Michael Blackburn at the Carmel Youth Center. Taking what she learned in class into real life to escape her attacker.
She punched him, she wrapped it, got him in a headlock, kneed him a couple of times, spun him around, threw him on the ground, and she had stepped on his foot doing all this, and when she threw him to the ground, she broke his ankle.
She was able to run home and is safe. However, with her attacker still on the loose, her family and police have asked to keep her identity anonymous.
But we're doing everything we can to figure out who this person is that's responsible for what happened.
Carmel police say they do not have a solid lead on the man yet, but have released this sketch of what they believe he looks like.
The person was acting unusual, like potentially under the influence of something or dealing with some other personal issues.
For Sensei Blackburn, it is heartbreaking to know his student was put in this situation, but he is grateful she knew how to defend herself.
I told her we were proud of her, and she did exactly what she was supposed to do. You have to fight in class like you're going to protect yourself on the street.
The 13-year-old girl hoping her story serves as a reminder to other young women that knowing self-defense can save your life.
That's pretty cool. I like that. I like that this girl just decided to beat up a grown man that was harassing her or, making her feel uncomfortable. That's pretty awesome. Will he hand himself into police? He'd be like, "Hi, I'm the guy that the young girl beat up. I've got a broken ankle. She broke my ankle." That's not a story you get to tell at the pub about the young jiu-jitsu girl who thought you were creepy, and so she used her training to defend herself. I don't think that's a story you get to tell to your friends. You might get to tell it to police, but not your friends. Okay, I will tell you. Hospital may contact police. Yeah, he's gonna have to get his ankle fixed. So they're probably going to search any hospital nearby that's done an ankle surgery on anyone. So, hey, that is pretty cool. I like that. I like when you see a young girl. Apparently she punched him, she wrapped him up and got him in a headlock, kneed him a couple of times, spun him around, threw him on the ground, and she stepped on his foot, resulting in breaking his ankle. That is pretty cool. I like seeing that. It happened on the 6th of May, according to local police. This is Carmel by the Sea in Calif. Oh, there you go. They said she was 13 years old and she fought off an attacker using self-defense she learned in jiu-jitsu class. Well done. They say the person was acting unusual, like potentially under the influence of something or dealing with some other personal issue. Yeah, don't you be dealing with personal issues in public. 13-year-old girls might break your ankle. Don't be doing that. Chipmunk says, look for a guy who can't walk and has his tail between his legs. Yeah, that's not a badge of honor, no. But strong little girl. Strong little girl that she was able to pin him on the ground, get him in a headlock, and then just dominate him. Dominated him. That is insane. Good work. Yeah, she should be proud. Ain't no guy gonna ever mess with her ever again. She's like, I did it once. I can do it again. I can break all your ankles. Don't you harass me ever. Gayla says, better dad won't be worried when she starts dating. No. Dad's like, you want to go on a date? Go for it. Have fun. We'll see if anyone ends up with a broken ankle. Well, if we do, then we know. We know she's done this before. She's been able to defend herself in the past against men. So that's a cool story. Hey, I wish we'd read more stories like that. They said the police are saying they're doing everything they can to figure out who this person is that is responsible for what happened, that the attacker was acting unusual. And they just said that, they're very proud of her. She did exactly what she was supposed to do. They said they're looking for anyone who may have information on it and may have CCTV or anything that might lead to the identity of the attacker. And the email they want you to email is this one here. And this is the CI's email. So this was probably a criminal investigations division of the Carmel police. And they would like you to email them should you have any video or evidence for them. Yeah, I think he's just never going to step out in public ever again. That's pretty cool. She must have really known her training to be able to completely spin around a grown man and pin him on the ground. That is really impressive for a 13-year-old girl. Really impressive. It's yeah. She must be a very strong girl. Although I know a lot of this type of like karate and that teaches you to use their so it might be like a power dynamic imbalance or a weight imbalance, and they teach you how to use that against the other person. So it may have been part of her training to use his size and weight against himself, which they do teach. So pretty cool. Carmel police, yeah. Carmel. That's right. I don't know why Americans say caramel. It's weird. We say caramel, has an A in there. I don't know what the difference between caramel and caramel is, but we just call it caramel here. What the difference is, I really don't know. And why some people say caramel. Sounds like a lady's name. Hey, go up to the 3rd floor and speak to Carmel. She will validate your parking ticket. Gayla says nothing. Chipmunk says, I say both. Okay. Glitter says, I say it like you ping. Well, there is an A in the word. It's like C-A-R-A. So, we try and pronounce all letters in all words, except if you're Australian and then you add an O to the end and then shorten the word. But that's a different story. Lindy says, Carmel is a beautiful place. I don't think I've ever heard of it before. You went to school with a Carmela? Where is Carmel by the Sea? Hold on. California, we know that. Where is it though? Okay, it seems to be in California. There you go. That's a direct quote. You can quote me on that. Okay. Oh, okay. It's way up here. Where's LA? Oh, okay. It's sort of south of San Jose or Santa Cruz. Sort of south of Santa Cruz, around the other side of the bay. Yeah. So Carmel by the Sea is right here. This is the area outlined in red. And if we zoom out a little bit, you'll see sort of where it's located. So there's Santa Cruz, there's San Jose, there's San Francisco, home of the mighty 49ers. Stockton, which is not the same. So LA must be south, right? Yeah, it is right here. So yeah, north of LA, very far north, near Fresno. What would you call it? West of Fresno. So, and Modesto, probably like, yeah, south of San Jose, really. Monterey Bay Aquarium. We should all go to Monterey Bay and go to the aquarium. I hear they have otters here. I heard from someone that there's otters that live around here. I don't know if this is true, but someone told me that if you go to the Monterey Bay Aquarium, that there's wild otters that live around here or something. Otters or some other type of sea creature. Yeah, I know. That's why I zoomed in on it, because it's right there. But someone told me that there's wild otters, sea otters, sea something. They're sort of like those, yeah, like a beavery type of thing that live out here. I was like, I want to see one of those. I've never seen an otter before, so I want to see one. Lots of otters. I want to see an otter. We don't have otters, we have penguins. So if you come to Victoria and you come to Melbourne, you can see penguins. We have penguins that live around here. So you can see, we don't have any otters. I can't give you any otter, but I can give you a penguin. I can take you to go see little tiny penguins that live on the beach. So we don't have any otters though. Khalid said Monterey Bay has penguins, whales, dolphins, and otters and sea lion. Sea lion? I think we have sea lions here too. You went to the Penguin Island? Yeah, there is a Penguin Island. It's where it's like Ibiza for penguins. They all go there during the summer, you know, watch penguin DJs and things like that. You didn't know Australia had penguins? I'm concerned for your geography. I am. I'm concerned for your geography. Being so close to like Antarctica, where else do you think they might live in the world? Being that Victoria is like one of the last sort of land masses before you get to the South Pole. So if you just go south from Victoria, you end up in friggin' a giant thing full of ice that there's research stations and, you know, it's sort of like living near Alaska, I guess, and you get to the North Pole. Chimong says, I'm here to learn about geography as well. Don't learn it from Ping. I don't have any good geography for you. Gladys says, for some reason, thought they lived in Antarctica and Alaska. Yeah, we have them here. So they do, not the big ones, not those big ones with the big, you know, colorful thing on their head or whatever. I think they live down up north somewhere. They don't live here. The ones we have here are like this big. They're only like tiny. They're only like little, what do they call them? Fairy penguins. They're only like little tiny ones. Yeah, king penguin. We don't have them here. They live in the ice kingdom somewhere. You're going to come visit me and meet penguins? Okay, we could do that. I could take you to the penguins. I'll take you to their leader and then ask if you can pat them. I think they'll say no, but you never know. Chipmunk says, I'm learning about Australia and now glazed caramelized offices. Okay. You would love to see that? I like to fly my Google Earth around Antarctica and look at the penguins. Okay, I didn't know you could do that. But yeah, we have penguins here. We also have giant sharks that live everywhere around here. So, you know, every summer you get like reported sightings in the bay in Melbourne. They're like, hey, some guy on a boat almost got eaten by a great white shark. And they're like, oh, they're back. Oh, they're back. They're back to eat all the humans. Great. They went away for the winter, but now they're back. A field trip? We could do a field trip. A sea otter. I don't think I've ever seen one before. All right. What else have we got on my list of things we could catch up on? We could talk about why Diddy apparently likes applesauce. Did you guys hear that? He carries ketchup and applesauce with him at all times because apparently nowhere else makes applesauce or ketchup in the world. Even though I can walk into my supermarket in Australia and buy Heinz ketchup today. I could just go, I think I have one in my fridge right now. So I don't know why you would need to travel with it when most countries around the world probably sell ketchup. No, it's not a delicacy. You don't have to go to America to find ketchup. We have it here. England has it. Europe has it. Don't think it's running out in the world. Chipmunk says, I've seen river otters in person. Really? You had tears in your eyes because they were so beautiful? Okay. You have not followed Diddy at all? You probably shouldn't. He might feed you Obama-shaped ecstasy. He might. And then get you to participate in a freak-off. Gayla says, I've got an open Heinz tomato sauce in the fridge and a closed one in the cupboard. Yeah, see? It's not as rare as he's trying to make it out to be. They're pretty common. You can get it. It's not a rare thing. It's not something you have to travel around the world with. I think I even have applesauce in my fridge. I don't think you need to put that on your private jet. There's a place in your town where you can go and swim with otters. I should do that. I can be with my folk, my kind folk, my kinfolk. I can go be with the otters. Rachel says, I haven't seen them, so okay. All right. What else we got on our list of crazy things to talk about on Memorial Day weekend? By the way, it's my favorite long weekend in America besides 4th of July. Other than 4th of July, it's my favorite long weekend in America. Because Memorial Day is always a fun weekend. Every year in Memorial Day weekend, there's always like blockbuster movies opening for the summer, and it's a fun weekend for everyone. And for remembering people like service members and military, but also for blockbuster movies at your local theater. All right, let's see. What else we got? What else we got? I got stories upon stories for you. What is this? Convicted killer receives life sentence for 2021 murder of his girlfriend. Well, I'm glad he's got a life in jail. Let me see if I can get you a video. Let's see. Nope, that's not it. Anyway, I'll talk to you about it. They say convicted killer receives life sentence for 2021 murder of his girlfriend. Terrence Trent Voss, 35, was declared guilty by a jury on March 21st, 2025 for the May 2021 murder of his girlfriend, Shandon Nicole Scott. Today he was sentenced to life in prison without parole for aggravated murder. He was sentenced to no less than 5 years each for 3 charges of felony discharge of a firearm. Who cares about that? He was sentenced to life in prison without parole for aggravated murder. They're like, wait, what if he somehow gets out? We got to have these firearm charges because, you never know. You just never know. So let's give him 5 years each for each of those because, he may get out one day. Sounds like he's going to jail for a long time. Don't think he's getting out anytime soon. They say he was also sentenced to 3 charges of 5 years each and 1 to 15 years. That's a range. For obstruction of justice, these sentences are to run consecutively to past sentences, but concurrently with the other ones. Sure, they could do that. They say, the family says, the defense attorney, DA Sim Gill, said in a press conference, "We applaud the judge for sentencing the defendant to life without the possibility of parole. The streets of Salt Lake City or Salt Lake County will be safer now that this violent habitual offender is behind bars for the rest of his life. We hope that Miss Scott's family can now begin to heal from the tragic loss of their loved one." Crazy. And there was 5 different victim impact statements that were read to the court about how much they miss the victim. And they said she was someone that you could talk to about anything. She wouldn't judge you. She would just listen to you. And that was a friend of hers called Tara. And they said, "We lost a mother, a daughter, a sister, and a best friend, one that can never be replaced." Her daughter then approached the stand to make a statement. And she said, "Why do this to me and my family?" she asked. "Our mother was our protector, our fighter, but who was hers? You were supposed to love her and you were supposed to protect her. If you loved her, why did she fear you?" She says, "I am now motherless for the rest of my life. Do you even understand what that means? Do you know what it feels like to reach for your phone only to remember that there's no one left to call?" That's a very strong statement by her daughter. I think one that resonates with everyone, that, you know, she can't pick up that phone anymore and ring her mother, and that she will have to live the rest of her life without that support in her life. So that was a very good statement by her. Let me go back here. Let's see if we can find a photo of this absolute poor excuse for a human. Let's have a look. Where is he? Ah, he looks like an absolute dumbass. Here we go. Here he is. Yeah, let me get him up here. The state of Utah versus Terrence Trent Voss. Ah, you look like an absolute idiot. Ah, someone needs to get you better glasses. They don't suit you. There you go. There he is. The guy who would kill a woman. Well, he's going to jail now. He'll be in jail for the rest of his life and off the streets of Utah. So, hey, permaculture, how are you? Fungi weekend? I ain't doing any fungi this weekend. No more. I am having a break until Monday. We're just talking about random true crime. I'm not doing any Aaron Patterson tonight. I'm sort of Aaron Patterson out at the moment. My mind is just full of facts and quotes and court procedures and witness statements and things I can say, things I can't say. My mind is a little mushy, a little beat down from just weeks of being shoveled information into it every day. That's sort of what it's like being in court, especially you know, it's just a lot of information day in and day. Well, you got to think about it. Court's, what is it, 10:30 to 4:15 in the afternoon. So it's about like 5.5 hours, but it's just constant information. It's hundreds of lines of you know, talking and statements and evidence and things like that. So it's just, I think, like, my notes are at least 50 pages every day, and you have to memorize this stuff, know what it is, talk about it. It's, yeah. So I'm having a weekend off until Monday, because we're in that sort of hard stretch of the trial. Like, when you start at the start, it's all very new and exciting, and now we're sort of in that sort of over the hump stage, going down the other way. So we'll get there. We'll get there. Hopefully, we'll see. But they're saying, you know, it's week 4. Week 4 just ended. Next week will be week 5, and they're saying that they scheduled it for 6 weeks, and we'll see. I don't know. It depends on the prosecution and the judge and what they're doing and what they get up to and who they want to call, and it's got nothing to do with us. Who knows? Who knows? You find out on Monday when you get to court. We rock up, sit down, and the judge, they go, all rise for the Honorable Judge Justice Beale, and then everyone stands up, and then he's like, be seated, and then everyone sits down, and they get underway. Get underway for the week. All right. Yeah, he has two. It looks like a photo of a dog under here. They look like pit bulls or something. There's a photo of each one. It's nice that he cared more about the dogs than he did about this the woman he killed. He was quite happy to have 2 dogs tattooed on his neck, but couldn't care about the woman he killed. Great. Good work. Good work. Monday or Tuesday? Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure. Retirement said he's not a good representative of Utahns. Is that how you pronounce it? Utahns? Okay, he may not be a good representative of Utahns. It sounds like, is that, I would have said it was Utahns? I don't know. Yeah, Utahns? Okay. I'll take that. I'll take that it's Utahns. You guys live there and I don't. Everyone likes to add like Aryans at the end, but you guys are not doing that. All right. Maybe he identifies as a pit bull. He identifies as something. I don't know what it is. Maybe a murderer. Maybe that's what he identifies as. Because, I mean, that's the facts of the case, right? He's a murderer. So there you go. Maybe that's what he identifies as. Retirement says you did great, Ping. Well, we've still got some time to go. It can all change in 2 weeks. No, I think it got better as we went through it. I think first week was very rough. It was a just steep learning curve, very different from what we do tonight is what I normally do. And having to, be somewhere for like 6 or 8 hours a day and then have to like dissect all this information very quickly and then kind of like spit it out to you guys. It's like it was a whole new process that I'd never. I mean, I take information and then I spit it out to you guys all the time, but not in this way. This way is very different because the rules surrounding it are so strict. You have to be really careful, and you have to really be careful of what you say, because when you're hearing stuff in court, there is no censor. So what we hear in court is completely uncensored, but we're expected to censor ourselves. Like there's certain things that we're not allowed to talk about. There's certain things we can't report on. We can only report on like here to here and this stuff and what is said in front of the jury. And there's a lot of things that happen outside of that. And it's very easy to not remember it's very easy to slip up and not keep your wits about you, especially when you're tired. It's very easy to say things that you shouldn't say. And yeah, I mean, I enjoy it. I like the work. I like it. And we should be heading to another trial in a couple of months. We're going to head to the Samantha Murphy trial. I'm just waiting on details about how that's going to work. I don't think we know yet whether it's going to be in Melbourne or Ballarat or how that's going to happen. But being that since that is such a big case, maybe the circumstances will be similar to this one where there'll be stuff for the media. So hopefully that'll be the case. Retirements, you did great pronouncing Utahns, but also with trial reporting. Thanks, I appreciate it. I appreciate all support, the extra subscribers and a lot of the likes and donations and things. It's been amazing. It's been a crazy month. It has. Feel like I'm constantly running. That's what it feels like right now. I feel like I'm on a treadmill and I'm just running constantly every day. That's what it just feels like. Normally when we do these shows, I sort of do my show, get off, and it's over. But there is no over with a trial. You're sort of like, oh, I finished for tonight, but now I need to go to bed and get up and do it all over again tomorrow and get up at like 5 a.m. to make sure I can get to court. So I'm enjoying my weekends. Never forget Samantha. It's troubling that we are over a year into it that we still don't know where she is. That to me is the hardest bit about Samantha Murphy's case, is that where could she have been taken within like an hour or two? Where could she have gone in that short time frame? Like they've checked a lot of places, they found her phone, but they haven't found her. Where could she have been put? And I know a lot of people are really big on the idea of a disused mine shaft, and it's a good theory because so far they've not been able to find her. And you would think if they found a deceased woman somewhere, well, it would be media and crime scenes and tape. But in a year and 3 months, like so 15 months, nothing. No one's found anything. No one's picked up on anything. There's been no like, hey, I smell something out here. Come and have a look. Call the police. Like, just nothing. It's just like this woman vanished from the face of the earth, and we know for a fact that people do not just vanish unless they're involved in an alien cover-up, which I don't think Samantha Murphy was. I don't believe so. I believe she was just trying to go for some exercise on Sunday morning. Nothing to do with aliens. Oh yeah, that's why we're going to trial. That's why we're going to go to the trial for it. Yes, they did. Stephen, whatever his name is. Hold on. Patrick Oren Stevenson. Sort of worded as Stephenson, but Stevenson. There we go. Patrick Oren. I'm just trying to see if we have a trial date. Hold on. Trial date. So September is what I'm hearing. Sometime later, a little later in the year, around September, possibly something like that. So, did you hear about Papini? Yeah, we spoke about it on Web Sleuths last night. She's doing the documentary. She said that she was kidnapped. No, just no. She was holed up with her little friend. They were having a bit of a lover's retreat for a few weeks. And yeah, the story's well known. If that lady told me that water was wet, I would never believe it. I would be like, I'd have to check for myself because she's so full of shit. Like, this is a woman who can't tell the truth if it smacked her in the face. She's a compulsive liar. She's never told the truth about anything. She just wants the media attention. That's the only reason she's doing this documentary, is probably for media attention, money, and whatever. It's, a smart person who was caught out lying to everyone, lying to the nation, would shut up and disappear from the spotlight. But she's so addicted to the publicity that she can't help herself. As soon as the documentary crew came rolling around, she's like, "Oh, me, pay for my Botox." Like, did you see that video? How much Botox has she put in her face? Yeah, she can't help it. She can't get away from the cameras, because the best thing for her would be to get away from the cameras and focus on her children, not be out there doing documentary series. That would be the worst thing. Because by doing the documentary series, you're putting an undue spotlight on your children. Whether it's indirectly, just by being in the media, that spotlight upon your family and your children gets bigger. So that's what happens. Chipmunk says she got caught up in her lies and keeps thinking if she tells the right one, she'll get her kids back. We'll see. All right. It's good. It's good when we have to ban people. It's fun when we do that. Lindy said I had to leave for a bit. Who are we talking about? Someone brought up Papini. So Sherry Papini doing the documentary. So Chipmunk says she got caught up in her lies and keeps thinking if she tells the right one, she'll get her kids back. What'll get her kids back is if she can demonstrate that she's improved in her life and demonstrates that she could be a good, a good parent. That's what they want. So she cares so much about them. Yeah, I have no interest in her, really. I feel the same way about her as I do about Lori Vallow. I just think they're both self-centered, people that just can't get away from the camera. And I feel like a bit of a hypocrite saying that, since I'm sitting in front of a camera right now. But, different. I didn't kill anyone and I didn't pretend to be kidnapped. Chipmunk says, I'll watch the recorded episode after this. Lindy said sociopath. Yeah. You know, it's interesting. The one thing I've noticed since we've started doing the trial is we've been it's interesting. The trial has brought out a lot of I think the spotlight's got bigger on the channel, and we're getting a lot more idiots drop by. A lot of dumbasses drop by. So it's guess it's just what happens. Chipmunk says she'll never own it. Can't fully tell. She'll never. I mean, I don't know. The facts are well known. I don't think doing this documentary. Not everyone's going to be like at the end. Oh my god, really? Oh my god, I believe her. Oh, we had a judge wrong for over a decade. No, not at all. That's not going to convince anyone that she was kidnapped by 2 Hispanic women that no one's ever seen before, that are going around the country only kidnapping someone called Sherry Papini. No, just not at all. Yeah, I know. All right, I think we're probably just about done. I think we're going to wind down for the night. I don't have too much more I want to talk to you about. Yeah. I don't think did we miss anything else? We caught up on the young girl missing in Queensland. We caught up with the update about the girl missing out of Utah. We talked about random true crime, including 2 idiots who seem to just want to go around their town and scream about, hey, I'm kidnapped or whatever, and then they got done for it. So good work on them. Very smart college kids, right? Obviously the top 10% of their year. Let me see. Was there an update in Chiron? Is that the one you were telling me about? Chiron Holman. Oh, the reinvestigation of it? There was a renewed effort. I know that was a while ago. It was a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, I'll play the update just because Glitter wants me to. Yeah. But it was a couple of weeks ago now.
New tonight, nearly 15 years after 7-year-old Kyron Horman disappeared from a Portland elementary school, law enforcement tell us they are making new efforts to solve the case. Catherine Cook's in the newsroom with a look at their new strategy. Catherine?
David, it's all about how investigators will soon be able to view Kyron's case file, thousands of pages of it. It's all getting digitized, giving the FBI a fresh review of the whole investigation.
It's the photo burned into so many hearts and minds. 7-year-old Kyron Horman, the day he disappeared from Skyline Elementary School. It was June 4th, 2010. Kyron's stepmom, Terry Horman, took the picture at the school's science fair that morning. But that afternoon, the second grader never got on his school bus and has been missing ever since. Even now, 15 years later, nothing, despite a massive and ongoing investigation. Kyron's biological mother, Desiree Young, does what she can to remain hopeful.
There's bad days and there's good days, and I struggle because it's loss. It's not having my son here. It's every time we have an event or every time my older son got married, Kyron's missing out on all of that, and it's sad.
But what's missing from this case? It's a question new investigative efforts may help answer. Over the past year, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office and Gresham Police have been digitizing Kyron's case file. That's thousands of pages, photos, and evidence scanned and reorganized into modern form. When it's finished, the FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit will re-examine the case. They'll perform psychological and behavioral analysis of the file, comparing it to similar cases nationwide. Based on any patterns they find, they'll offer new investigative recommendations. Multnomah County DA Nathan Vasquez says his office has begun reviewing the case with fresh eyes, saying, quote, "We look forward to receiving further analysis from the Sheriff's Office and the FBI. Our focus remains where it has always belonged, on Kyron and his family."
Well, 15 years is too long to know what happened to that kid. And there's quite a few cases scattered throughout true crime where we've been begging for answers for, decades. And every now and then we get one and we finally get the answers as to what happened. Maybe it's time for this one, for Kyron to, for all those answers to become public. I hope the renewed effort goes well and they're able to substantiate some of these rumors and claims that have been going around for years and years online. There's a lot of things being spoken about this particular case that never really have been substantiated, is the word I'm going to use, because no one's ever been able to really back it up with proof or solid, evidence. But there's, a lot of stuff in the background here. Yeah, there is some suggestion that that's exactly what happened. But, these investigators have way more information than we ever do. And if they still are saying that they need more, then that's what has to happen. That's what has to happen. Yeah, it's like Michael Vaughan. Like Michael Vaughan, the case of him. I know his mum has been asking still for more media coverage for him. She used to pop in every now and then on Web Sleuths and ask us to do more on him. So Glitter says, yeah, I really hope they get answered. Me too. It's been far too long, especially when you have a kid who is missing. Listening to Kyron's daddy talk about this was so awesome. I can't say I've listened to that, but I believe you. Glitter says, I've not seen Brandy in a while. I hope she's doing okay. She tends to like flutter in and out of true crime world. She'll like do a bunch of like advocacy for the case, and then she'll sort of flitter away, and then she'll come back again, and then she'll be really active in it again, and then she sort of flitters away again. I heard she had some health issues recently. I hope those are being addressed and that she'll be okay. But there needs to be answers in that one too. So we've got a lot. Is that true? I know that she was diagnosed with cancer, but I didn't. I really far out. That tells you that time is of the essence right now in that case, because it'd be nice to have answers. Be nice to have answers. That sucks. Foster's mom said last I heard she was not doing well at all. I hope she finds the answers to what happened before, that would be awful. Hold on, I saw. Yeah, I did. So I sent Evil Alaska an email, but I never heard back. I sent that email a couple of weeks ago, but I never got a reply. So I don't know what happened to her. I look, some people come and go from true crime. Some people get really attached to channels for a period of time, and then they don't, and then they come back, and then they find cases that they're interested in, and then they go away again. It could be that. It could be where she is. Like her internet was a little flaky in Alaska, so it could be maybe her satellite's gone down, or I don't know, but it could be that she's not well. I'm not sure. But I did send her an email a couple of weeks ago, but I never got a reply. I never got a reply. So that's the most I can do. I don't have a telephone number for her. She said she wants answers before. I hope so. I hope she gets them. You saw her in chat a few weeks ago. I don't think I've seen her in ages, like at least a month, maybe 2 months, maybe 2 months. So sometimes need a break. Yeah, sometimes people need a break. All right. It's sad to hear that about Brandy. I hope that I just hope she gets those answers that she's looking. I hope we all get them. It'd be nice to know what happened to Michael Vaughan. It really would. All right. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll have another late show. We'll talk about random true crime. I'll bring you updates on Phoebe's case tomorrow. I don't see anything that I would want to tell you right now. Yeah, no real update this afternoon. I'm not seeing a lot out of the search that they did today. Although her mum is asking locals to keep their porch light on as a, symbolic sort of, that people are thinking about her and maybe she might approach someone if she is out there. So that is a nice thing. Yes, prayers for everyone that needs them. Don't forget your reminder. Sure, reminder. Wait, what's a reminder? Oh, for people to subscribe? Yeah, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I would appreciate it. We are getting close to that 1500 mark, which was one of our goals for the trial. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button, I would appreciate it. And welcome to all the new subscribers. I appreciate it. And we'll be back tomorrow night with another late show. That'll be the last one for the week. And then I'll be back in court Monday morning at 10:30 a.m. for the Aaron Patterson trial for day 937. Wait, no, that's not right. Day 19. Day 19, I think. I think. I can't remember what day we're up to anymore. I think it's 19 on Monday. The other reminder too? I don't know which one. We have a lot of reminders. Oh, I will talk to her after the show. I'll talk to her. Did she ask me to remind her? Yeah, she can email me. She has my number. It's okay. She can SMS me if she wants to. So yeah, profile SMS me after the show. Sure. JS says, does Victoria have the no body, no parole laws? In New South Wales, if a person is convicted of murder and then the body of the victim is missing, they have to reveal where it is before they can apply for parole. I don't know if it's been brought in yet. They are discussing making it like a national thing, but I think it's only New South Wales and Queensland. Hold on. Victoria, no body, no parole laws. I know they were looking to bring it in. Okay, so in Victoria, no body, no parole law means that parole can be denied to prisoners convicted of murder or conspiracy to commit murder if they don't cooperate in identifying the location of the victim's remains. The purpose of these laws is to help locate bodies of murder victims and provide closure for families. They say parole is not granted unless the prisoner satisfactorily cooperates with authorities in the investigation and identifies the location of the remains. The laws apply to prisoners serving sentences for murder or conspiracy to commit murder. Some people have suggested that the laws don't go far enough and that it should be that you have to actually locate the body, not just cooperate to be given parole for a murder charge, which I think is actually a good idea. That is a good change to it. That it shouldn't just be you cooperated with authorities. It should be that you actually found the body and gave it back to the family. That would be one of ultimate penance to it. Like you did your time, you paid your debt to society, but you also helped heal the family by returning their loved one for the horrible crime that you did. If you're given parole, my opinion is if you commit these type of murders where you're hiding bodies all over Australia, you should never get out. It should be life means life. And if you're sentenced to life in prison, you should never get out. Doesn't matter how many years it is. If they're like 20 years to life, life is forever, not until you're 45. It should be, just you should never see the light of day. I am personally for that. I think the laws are not strong enough at times. And we're like, oh, so you killed your wife? We're going to give you 12 and a half years in prison because one time She denied you sex, and that's one of the things that it's one of the things wives should always do for you. So we think we think that deserves a discount because she antagonized you. What? Like, what is this rubbish? Like, how is that the same? How does that deserve any sort of discount on your sentence? Be an adult. Be an adult in life. And if you're not getting what you need from your relationship, find someone who will give it to you. That is how life works. And you can be an adult and end a relationship and start a new one if you want that. That's what grown-ups do. Not people who try and kill their wives because they're like, oh, I want her even though she doesn't want me, and our relationship has crumbled, but I still want to hold on to a grasp of what we had. The world has 1 billion people on it. There's probably someone way hotter out there than your wife. Who cares? Go find someone. Like, you don't need to kill people. There's billions of people on this planet. You could go meet whoever you want. Stop thinking so small. Stop thinking with attachment and possession. It's bizarre. I don't understand this line of thinking from people. The world is massive. There's so many people out there, and people are so fixated on, oh, I have to keep this one person. Sure. She don't love you anymore. Who cares? Like, she ain't coming back. Cut your losses and go elsewhere. Like, you don't need to bury her in a forest. Don't need to do that to people. People need healthy hobbies. They sort of do. Tharby said, I've been missing a game, but things are much better now. I hope you're getting better, you and your husband. I hope everything's getting better. All right, let's get out of here before Ping lectures people on adultery. That's for another time. All right. I love you all. Have a great day out there. And to the person who called me a bogan, you can call me a bogan all you want. I think there's a lot more bogan people out there than Ping. But if that's what you want to call me, I'll wear it like a badge of honor because I don't give a fuck what you say. So peace out. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great Friday if you're in America, Saturday morning if you're in Australia. Have a great rest of your Saturday night, and I'll see you Sunday tomorrow for us, and Saturday night for you guys. All right, we'll have some more fun tomorrow night. Peace out. See you later. Yeah, I will get some rest. Actually, I had a good sleep last night. I'm fine. Bye. See you later.